So let's start like this. Start with talking about aim assist. Obviously that's something that everyone cares about the most. Everyone wants to hear about. I think one main thing is aim assist needs to work through windows. It has not worked since the start of the game. It has not worked since Tilted Towers. It has never worked. And controller players have aim assist, you know, to kind of bridge their aim to be close to mouse and keyboard. And what good is it if we can't shoot through a window? We get no aim assist through a window, but mouse and keyboard doesn't need aim assist and they still get their natural aim. It's very stupid. And there are so many times I can't shoot out of a window. I can't shoot out of a window because I know I'm not going to hit him at all, and I'm only going to give my position away. We don't get aim assist when we're in bushes. I feel like it should be the same thing. Mouse and keyboard doesn't need aim assist and they have no handicap in a bush, but controller players have aim assist and they have handicap if you're in a bush. So the bush and the window thing are huge for me, more than I honestly don't even care if they want to nerf aim assist or whatever, or do whatever they want to it. That's fine. But this is something that should have been in the game a super long time ago. I think that's huge. Box fighting, man. So the tracking is the issue. I think the tracking, like when you're close to a player and they jump and my aim drags up for me, it's a bit too much. I wonder if they could just maybe tune it down a little bit. I'm not really sure, but close range box fighting when you just have a sub, it's kind of crazy that I have no fear of going to someone's box, just spraying my sub and getting the kill. It's really not fair for mouse and keyboard players. I played mouse and keyboard and versus controller players. It's not fun. It's really not fair. So that's how I feel about close range box fighting. Long range fights, like long range for controller, is horrible. I don't know if they changed anything, but speaking from the patches before, we would get like no aim assist. Controller players would get like no aim assist from long range, and a lot of times I started recently using my mouse and keyboard when I'm long range, like, you know, 100, 150, 200 meters plus, you know, getting those tags for storm surge, which is really important for comp. Getting storm surge tags, it's huge. And a lot of times I found myself switching to my mouse and keyboard for long range shots, which is kind of ridiculous. I have to do that. So if they could maybe like add aim, like a small aim assist for long range, that would be awesome. I don't even shoot long range on my controller a lot of times, and I miss out on tags I could be getting. It's kind of bad. So that's how I feel about aim assist right now. I hope linear, you know, gets fixed up a little bit. Maybe, I don't know. It's just in a weird state right now. I hope the changes they're gonna make are good and they're beneficial for mouse and keyboard and controller players, and they're fair. I want them to be fair. So I want to talk about items in the game, mythic items, heavy snipers, grapplers, fish, all that kind of stuff. So let's start with weapons. I don't think heavy snipers should be in the game. Late game, when you have so much stuff going on and you can't hear anything. I watched a clip earlier of some guy called Diamond. He got like 4 heavy snipe kills, just heavy sniping into people's boxes and just killing them with the pump sub. That's you guys have seen me use that loadout before. Heavy snipe, pump, and drum gun or sub. It's the most broken thing ever. And you can exploit too, which is the crazy thing. You put the ramp above yourself. You guys know it. You put the ramp above yourself. You pickaxe the wall, get it one shot, and then you jump and pickaxe and it pushes you through. Well, with the heavy sniper, you place a stair above yourself, you jump, heavy snipe, you're instantly in their box. With the stair exploit, honestly, I don't mind the stair exploit, but when you have something like a heavy sniper that one shots a wall, I don't think that's meant for competitive at all. And like I said, end game, you have no sound and someone just heavy snipes into your box, and especially controller players that are really good in box fights. It's a horrible combination, and I totally understand where mouse and keyboard players are coming from, why they hate us. I get it. So I don't think heavy snipers should be in comp, in my opinion. Mythic guns. So listen, here's the thing with mythic guns. I know that Fortnite's all like, I don't know. I like the idea of them. You know, you're going for more of a risk if you land there, right? You guys know at agency, there's usually like 5 people that land there, and you know, last man out gets the drum gun. Like, I don't know. A lot of people, like, I don't necessarily like being killed by the drum gun, right? I don't think anybody does, and you have less of a chance of winning that fight because he has, you know, a better gun, but he earned that gun. Like, you don't go to agency uncontested. You don't. You don't go to agency uncontested. At the end of the day, you know, it really sucks when someone has a grappler or a mythic scar or a Brutus's minigun, but they had the courage to go to that drop spot knowing that they could lose, die off spawn, and get 0 points that game. So do I like dying by a drum gun or getting grappled on? No. Do they deserve it? Like, do they deserve it for landing there, getting that loot? Yes. I kind of like them, but I can see where it's kind of overboard just because it's like it's less competitive, but that's what Fortnite is. It's not like any other game. If we're speaking technically, like, okay, well, if you get the drum gun, yeah, you're gonna have a more percentage of a chance to win, and a worse player could kill a better player because they have a better gun. But that's just not Fortnite. Fortnite's not about the game being 100% like, oh, here's a dedicated loot pool, no pistols, no anything. Like, it's not like that, bro. I think people are just tripping a little bit too hard about that. I honestly like mythics in the game. I think high risk, high reward. I think it's perfect. There's not a lot of high risk, high rewards in the game besides like upgrade machine and upgrading your gun. Floppers, I think they're I'm trying to think how I feel about them. So I don't know, are they more OP in solos or are they more OP in squads or trios? Because think about it like this. Think of a whole squad lands somewhere where there's a lot of fish. If they all have a stack of fish, let's talk about trios. Let's talk about trios since that's the upcoming format. So say a team of 3, say each of them have 3 fish, okay? Just say each of them have 4 fish, a whole stack, okay? If they decide to give all of their fish to one player would have 12 fish. That was a very common thing in duo, anything, duos, trios, squads. You drop all your heals for one player and you let them live it out. And it's kind of crazy when you think about it, right? Because by giving all that player the healing items, they're actually, just by that one player being alive, they're racking up placement points sitting in the storm. And you can't, when the zone's moving, man, you're not gonna know where they're at. You're not gonna know where they're at in a build 50 meters away, healing up with 12 slurp fish that they have in the bandage gun that they have. I don't know. Honestly, I would prefer the game. They should have no storm benefit. What do you mean? I just feel like it's kind of like, that's almost like an uncontrollable thing in a sense. Like, you can't find that person, you can't kill them, they're not playing. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Tank storm with them? What do you mean?
No, I just fell. My ping is not catching me.
Floppers max at 3, slurp. Maybe like, I don't think floppers, like, I don't know if the health should be nerfed.
Oh, you went on them?
But I think maybe the cap on them.
Stay on my side, I can help you, but otherwise.
I don't know, man. Or maybe like if you're in the storm, maybe the fish don't heal as much or something like that. Just some sort of small nerf to it, I think. In my opinion, I don't like, yeah, like, or when people have 4 floppers, they pop 2 of them, start to build up, pop the 3rd one, start to build up, they're about to be in zone, pop the 4th one, and their height. And it's kind of crazy. It's like an undeserved height, bro. Because you either killed someone with 4 floppers or you fished 4 floppers and you just played it out. I don't know. I don't like that personally. I'd rather have mythic guns. But that's just my opinion. Maybe no more harpoons. Maybe people have to fish with the actual fishing rods. Maybe that would decrease the amount of fish someone can get and the like efficiency. I guess. Maybe no harpoons. Just an option though. Or maybe harpoons can only be used to pull loot. I don't know. Like if you use 3 fish in a row, you get to wait a time. Yeah, maybe like a cooldown on it. Maybe like a cooldown on fish. That's actually a good idea. Like a 3 second cooldown. Or like That's actually such a good idea. I did not even think about that, Danny. Like a 3 or 5 second cooldown, and when after you pop it, it'll show like a timer above your fish. That would be so good. That way you can't abuse them. And like if you're sitting in the zone, right? You pop a fish, okay. You have a 5 second cooldown. You know you have to at least go into the, like, try to get into the zone a little bit so it's not ticking you while the countdown is going. Then once you build in the zone and you box up, then you could pop another one, like you're safe, like, I don't know, something like that. Even if it's not 5 seconds, even if it's 3 or something, you know, when it's ticking for 10 a tick, that's a big difference. Booga here says it's 2021. Only 13 keyboard and mouse players out of 100 have qualified for World Cup solos. A majority of top tier keyboard and mouse players now are in coaching positions as opposed to actually playing. Personally, I don't think this will ever happen. I don't think in a World Cup scenario that there's just so many more keyboard and mouse players in competitive, right? Or is there more controller? Oh, it's just not realistic. Like, honestly, I could see like 50 can. I don't even think so. Any big tournament, when has there been a ton of controller players? Look, exactly. Look at this guy. This guy responded and said it's 2019. There was only 5 controller players in World Cup. Now, keep in mind, this was before linear, so there's been a lot of changes. I honestly, it's unpredictable right now. I don't want to say that. Not 13. That's ridiculous. The least, it would be 50-50 if anything. But yeah, linear was not in the game last World Cup. So I'm actually curious myself in the next World Cup 2021. It was announced. That was already officially announced. I'm actually curious how many controller players there will be compared to mouse and keyboard. What do you guys think? I would love to know. I would love to know in the chat and down in the YouTube comments below. In 2021 World Cup, how many controller, if there's 100, say there's 200 players total, how many players do you guys think will be controller? How many controller players do we think will be in World Cup if there are 200 players total? If I had to guess, in the next World Cup, that's kind of far. It's a year from now. But if I'm guessing from how the game is right now, I would probably say there would be probably like 60 to 80 controller, probably like 80 controller players. I think that's kind of reasonable. I don't think it would be over half. I don't think so at all. I don't think so. I mean, you look at the leaderboards now, like maybe solos, there's more controller players. Like there would be more controller players now in solos. I don't know. That's actually, it's interesting. It's an interesting thing to think about. I'm not sure. But we will see in 2021. I hope this video is marked and saved somewhere. I hope so. It is a good question. My likes are not updating. I don't know why they do this. They don't update. All right. What else? What else is there to talk about? Oh, another thing that I'm really disappointed that Fortnite has not done yet. They have not made a bind, and I don't know why. I would love to know why. Fortnite has not made a bind for picking up downed players. I can't change, like, it's crazy. I have 3 different buttons on my controller that pick up a downed player. It upsets me.